Hi everybody, welcome to Fine Print Session. Fine print. You know, when you're writing a contract or a document, there's that fine print that is there. Or when you are not writing it and receiving it, and you're supposed to sign an agreement, there's that fine print or the so-called terms and conditions apply. Namhlanje, I just want to take time and take a journey with you just to talk about the fine print of bouncing back. That, it's the new year and we've got to be bouncing back. And we've got a lot of nice inspirational messages and motivational messages saying you can bounce back. You've been there, right? You can bounce back. Bounce back, bounce back, bounce back. And then after that, kanjani? How? You ask yourself, kanjani? And after feeling very encouraged and excited that you can bounce back, then kanjani? You don't know where to start because always terms and conditions applies. That's where fine print comes in to then talk about the unveiling of those capabilities and abilities within you and around you for you to bounce back. So the biggest thing that is there in bouncing back, number one, you need to be willing, just be willing. I know people, they think that willingness must come. There's a willingness that comes, but there's also a willingness that comes from within. The willingness that comes from within is that thing that you have or you tell yourself to say, I want to be successful, I want to do this, or I want to be married, or I want to start a business. That thing that is in you, most of the time that willingness, if somebody had to ask you, you fail to explain it. But it's there, I like that kind of willingness. You need it. Because when everything is not making sense, it gives you that drive to carry on and to want to move forward and push against all odds. So you've got to allow that. So don't suppress it. Allow that. So willingness to bounce back, that comes from within, and there's willingness that comes from external places or places around you. Many people, they don't realize the power of the environment. When you are to bounce back, you've got to be in an environment that is enabling you to bounce back. We want you to bounce back. So the environments, no matter how much you try, they will work against you bouncing back. So that's very important. So please do consider the environment. The environment could mean your friends, could mean the house where you stay, it could mean your family, it could mean your workplace, it could be anything, your church, and so on and so forth. That doesn't mean you must then divorce your church or divorce your family and all that. Maybe in worst case scenario, that is necessary. But generally speaking, you don't have to be that extreme. But what is important is that you need to understand your season. You are in the season of bouncing back. Then, if you are in the season of bouncing back, then be in an environment that is going to support your efforts of bouncing back. So that is number one, very, very important. So you've got to make sure that you are willing and you are willing from within and also you're in an environment that is able to support your willingness. That's key. By the way, you are lucky if you've never had to bounce back. Most of us, or if you live long enough, you would have an opportunity to bounce back. Many people, they think, no, I've never had to bounce back. I've been going higher and higher and going forward all the time. That's good. And it's something that you are blessed with. But at some point, you've got to bounce back. When you're bouncing back, which is number two now, the point number two I want to talk about, is that point, man, yokuthi abantu bazothini. I am willing to bounce back, but abantu bazothini. What will people say? I wish I was able to speak Isvenda, there's something That sounds a bit English when vendors are talking. I'm going to go and to Limpopo and learn a bit of vendor, and next time I'll be able to say abantu bazothini kasivenda. Angazi ngesuthu bathini kodwa kunokubatloring but batloring something like that, because that syndrome iyasishaya man. Because when you have fallen, you always feel good when you are successful. And this is not a talk for people who have never been successful, because you are bouncing back from what? You've got to bounce back from something. So it means they have been successful. Maybe you had a girlfriend, or you had a wife or a husband, or you had a car or a house or something, and then they repossess your car. Bouncing back is an issue there, because when your car is repossessed, one of the things is that you won't even tell the truth. So, no, in a mechanical problem or even an accident, as you've been saying those things. No, in a mechanical problem, and actually it's a financial problem. It's not a mechanical problem. Bank repossessed that car. So those are the issues that we have to bounce back from. And some of the issues are issues of bouncing back from a repossessed house, or a repossessed wife or husband. One day you had a wife, then another dude repossess your wife. So those things, they do happen. We've got to be real. This is fine print. So asikhulumeni nje kahle. So I'm sharing these things because when your wife or your husband has been repossessed, you've got to just look up, head up, chest forward, whatever. That kind of a posture. You've got to do that posture. And I'm saying this because many people, they then think there's something wrong with them when they've lost a house, lost a car, or lost a wife. Or sometimes it's you that is, you've got something wrong that you've got to fix, but sometimes it's bigger than you. It's just a journey you have to take for your greater calling and for your greater purpose. So now I'm lucky because my car was once repossessed. And it was repossessed after I've prayed. I've realized that prayer is not that so much of a good tool to stop a car from being repossessed. I'm not saying you must stop praying. You can pray, but good luck if you just want to pray for that. So I prayed. I fasted. But the sheriff came after the fast and prayer, and they waited until I finished my fast, and then they still repossessed the car. But I had to bounce back. Today, I even forgotten the pain that came with it. So it's possible to bounce back. So I was just still going on number 2, which is the point that says abantu bazothini. That point, to what about people, you've got to overcome it. Now, this is how I suggest you have to, or how I suggest, this is how I suggest you have to overcome it. I'm trying to bring a point that is really, really simple and practical here. Number 1, you must remember that abantu, they don't have your best interest at heart. So if you're going to do things in their name or to please them, you are going to shortchange yourself, because you have to look after yourself at the end of the day. So that, just to remember that alone, is going to help you to approach this abantu bazothini syndrome better. Okay? I think that's something very important. Another thing that you must then do about abantu bazothini syndrome is that you must then remember that you don't owe anyone explanation. So when you are in your journey of bouncing back, don't go out there, try to explain yourself. Kushukuti, this is how I felt. Kushukuti, this is how I'm going to rise. Kushukuti, where I am. This Kushukuti explanation, cut them. Focus your energy on things that are going to bring results. But explaining yourself to people, in fact, people will make you explain and they will still hold the same perception about you. and they still hold the same critic about you. So you don't want to waste unless you have to explain yourself and there's a particular point you are driving or something to be achieved, that you can do. But don't make it your primary purpose to go and explain yourself to people. You are wasting energy, you are wasting time, and you are actually prolonging your healing process. So don't explain yourself a lot to people concerning your bouncing back and your strategies of bouncing back. So number 3, which is talking to point number 2 of abantu bazothini syndrome, what will people say syndrome, is that when you are on your journey of bouncing back, you must always find a way to avoid people. You don't debate with them, just avoid them. You avoid meeting them physically, you avoid debating with them, or anything that will slow you down or aggravate the hurt that you are going through. Avoid it, because you don't know when you're going to lose it. Sometimes you think you've got yourself under control, and somebody will come and say one word that will irritate you. You'll end up clubbing those people, and you don't want to have those issues that we are trying to fix this. Now we've got a new problem, that you have a temper that is out of control. So avoid people that will aggravate and provoke your pain and your anger. Simple as that. Avoid it so that you are able to deal with these issues with bantu bazothini, because vele abantu, they're going to be talking, and abantu, they will be saying things. One thing good about abantu, today they are on your case, tomorrow it's someone else, but the damage they make on you on the day when they are on your case, it's so big that even when they are busy with somebody else's scandal, you are finished, you are shattered. They don't leave you in one piece, they leave you in pieces. So it's very important to remember that. They don't make you rest in peace, they make you rest in pieces. They chop you into so many pieces. So be careful of abantu bazothini syndrome. Number 3, there's this thing of wanting to rush the process when you're bouncing back. I want you to be careful of that. Don't rush the process, but at the same time, don't take too long. So the question is, how do I then strike the balance between rushing the process and taking too long? And my fine print approach or school of thought would say, you must always make sure that you are efficient in what needs to be done today, instead of rushing it. So you don't want to skip it, but you don't want to procrastinate or take too long. You want to do it. So you need to be to do the right thing to the best of your ability at that time. If you're doing that, then you will do all the steps within the process without necessarily jumping them, and also not rushing the process. So because many people, they think that being efficient is the same as cutting corners. You don't have to cut corners, but you must actually be efficient and get going and work on it every day. So so that's the point I wanted to raise about you actually not rushing the process. Then number 4, don't really try to recover by proving a point. Avoid proving a point. Some people, they are not bouncing back because they want to be successful. They are bouncing back because bafuna ukumlaya. Yeah, ngifuna ngibone. Yeah, I'm happening. Hey, can you imagine uthi ufuna ukulaya umuntu kanti he has won ilotto and you are not aware? So wena ubusy ufuna ukumsorta out, uyamlaya with isikoloto or your 20,000 and 100,000 rands. This person has got 20 million rands and you are not aware, and you don't even know where they get the money from. So If you want to buy a car so that you prove a point, let's assume you are bouncing back in a relationship setup. You're saying, yeah, I want to show him that I am doing fine without him. You know that song? I'm doing fine without you, baby. That kind of syndrome, it must not put you into ecolot, because you may sink while you are fixing the heartache of being damned. Now you're introducing a new heartache of being broke. So you must be careful of those things. There are just people who've got old money that you cannot try to prove a point with them, that have been consistent and having momentum and from generation to generation. So know your situation and don't prove the point. So you're not proving the point to your friends, you're not proving a point to anybody. That is why I was saying avoid being around certain people that are going to make you want to prove a point. It doesn't work. Uyeke nedda, uyeke kanjalo nje, because kuhamba kuhambe kube nama challenges that are going to creep in and put you into more trouble. So we are not called to proving a point. We are called to be impactful and to be significant and to actually do what we're supposed to do. So we've got to bounce back. Now, before I conclude, I want to talk about how the importance and how critical it is for you to really be willing to bounce back. Even before you fall, you must set your mind that even if I happen to fall, I will bounce back. I don't think the thought of bouncing back comes when you're down. Just plan, or not, you are not planning for a fall, but you are putting a particular mindset in you that says, whatever happens, I will not leave things that are working against me peacefully. I will actually make sure that I come back, because there are many things that are working against you. So those things must be very uncomfortable. Make them uncomfortable. Be it people, be it situations, whatever the case may be, make it very uncomfortable for you to be done. So you must set up your mind that you will bounce back, whatever it takes or whatever may happen, you will bounce back. And another thing is that when you are bouncing back, you are not only doing so that you are getting fulfilled, but it's your growth journey. You know, kids, they fall every day, but they fall and then they rise again. Can you imagine if you were the child and then you decided to fall once and you never rose? You wouldn't be walking today, because you were not going to exercise your muscles and enhance your growth to a level where you are able to walk the way you can walk today. So some of these things are part of the journey. So sometimes you fall hard, sometimes you fall and not so hard, but ekugcineni you have fallen. Asivume nje kahle 9 you have fallen. So you have fallen, but rise again and look up and keep moving forward. So this thing of bouncing back, it's very important, because even when you want to remain where you have fallen, you will always be isqashi. I don't know how to put it. You know, sometimes English is not so friendly. You will always be isqashi, like a tenant, because there are landlords of the fallen world. And those landlords, you don't belong there, and they can see that you don't belong there. So for a first few days or few moments, you will feel like it's better off to lie down there where you have fallen. But few days later, you'll soon realize that I don't belong here. The language people speak, it's not your language. The way people are doing things is not your way of doing things. The way things are happening, it's just so against you. So if you're going to sit there, you're going to have a problem. So you rather have a stress and a frustration of fighting your way up back again or bouncing back than having a stressful life of forcing yourself to stay where you don't belong. You belong up. Let us bounce back, guys. Whatever it takes, let's bounce back. We'll see you in the next session. But as for today, we have seen some possibilities within the fine print, dotted line somewhere down there that says, indeed, we can bounce back. So go and bounce back. Whatever it is, go bounce back. If you didn't get a job or you got fired, M17, go look for another job or go start a business. But don't stay broke because something fell apart. Do something about it. If somebody dumped you, there's another woman, maybe not so beautiful, but it's another woman that you can do something with. So go there. Guys, we know people are not the same. And this thing of saying beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, yeah, but there are just people that are really beautiful. Like even if the beholder was like having some impaired vision issues, they would say, the healing of the eyes comes. You know, there are people that are able to bring healing to the eyes. It's fine. If you didn't get that one, then go with the one. You know, there's this song, Konjubani lo, Luther Vandross, love the one you with. You know, sometimes you must just love the one you with because the one you wanted, ageko, you know, she's been repossessed or he has been repossessed. So love the one you with. Kuzokusiza lokho. Even if it's on the rebound, guys. No, I think you must be selfish when you're bouncing back. Even if uzojola nomuntu because you're on a rebound, sharp, do that. And then when you are healed, mtampe naye, then naye uzoheala naye somewhere along there. I know it sounds bad, but you've got to be selfish. If it takes you to have another relationship in transition so that it takes you to the real one, why not? It's part of the healing. So whatever that will heal you, go for it and just be diligent and open your eyes and never stop praying. You know, we cannot talk about bouncing back and forget about prayer. You've got to pray. One of the things I like about praying, besides that you are talking to God and the superpowers out there that are beyond your strength and you feel you need more energy and power from above, that is good. And I like that, and I don't want to actually interrogate that. It's good. But what I like about the other aspect of prayer is that the more you pray, you are actually venting because you are saying, you are pouring your heart. Even if you are pouring your heart, you are alone in the room, nobody is there. But just to know that God is listening heals you. Some of the healing comes from you being able to find a person or a space where you can just vent. So go and vent. God is not going to be angry that you are venting. But don't forget to say what, after you've vented, don't forget to say, what is it that you want to see happening going forward? All right, enjoy. We'll see you up there. Let's all bounce back. I have bounced back. I'm still bouncing back. You are bouncing back. Let's not really get discouraged, but let's bounce back. This is Fine Print, unveiling treasures from within and treasures around you. Cheers.